It's a great question. For me, it would be the culture because we operate out of 31 different locations. Although we have different brands within our platform and our portfolio, we really focus on honoring the history and the traditions of the brands and all that. But we operate on a consistent set of core values, which is super important. And for me, and it's probably maybe even more of a personal thing because the business is doing really, really well. It's making sure that there's consistency in the culture, the vision, the direction, the things that are important, the things that matter to the organization. Um, and being able to apply those principles consistently is really tricky. It's really tricky.
I, I don't know how you do it. 31 locations.
One day at a time, one conversation at a time. And we're fortunate that, 8.5 out of 10 times things are going really, really well, but we're not immune to any of the other challenges that businesses have, right? We have good days and bad days. We've got great customers and, customers that are a challenge. And, some years sales are better than others. But the sum of all the parts is really, really good. And we're really proud of it. But again, we're not immune to any of those challenges that happen. And when those challenges happen, we operate in a very metrics driven organization. We're really big on accountability, not for the sake of accountability, but because we, again, are trying to create opportunities. And people, in order for people to level up, you need to be able to have honest, candid conversations and
Hmm.
provide a continuous feedback loop so they can get better. And, you know, some people welcome it, some people shy away from it, but just learning how to have all those conversations with 1,600 different people can get tricky. And this is not just me. We've got an awesome team, and we're a very corporate light business model. All of our resources are in the region, so we can have real time feedback loops. But I would say the culture, maintaining a consistent culture, is probably the biggest challenge that I see for me and within our organization.
That is a good one, especially as the bigger you get, the harder maybe it is to be consistent and no matter what. And people are, sometimes the most complicated tool in your toolbox is,
They are
you
our
know.
greatest and most important asset. There's no doubt about it. And we
Mm,
invest the vast majority of our time and treasure into folks because when you do a nice job, taking care of your team, right there, invariably you hope are going to go take care of your customers, which leads to positive outcomes. And it's easy to say, not easy to do, but it's
but worth
paramount
it.
to being successful
Hmm.
on any level. And look, and we're hard on ourselves. We are very hard on ourselves, and we've never been content, we've never been complacent, and it's never good enough. So we're always, trying to pressurize things a little bit more. That pursuit of constant improvement, so to speak. And we've built a great organization, but it is a living, breathing organism that requires a lot of tender love and care and nurturing on a daily basis. And it never lets us forget that.
And when you were saying that, one thing that I saw when I was looking up your company was the sundown rule, and I love the name, the sundown rule. But again, that's kind of a reminder of how you want your team to operate. And I really like that you're gonna, if you have a problem as a client, you're gonna hear from somebody in your company before sundown what how the issue is going to be resolved, or you're gonna see somebody on site. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came up?
Yeah, so being just kind of a serial entrepreneur and a learner, if you will, that was Sam Walton's principle, right? You had to fix
Okay.
what was broken that day, or at least have a solution or a plan on how you were going to fix it or move forward. So we operated that like that for years. So if somebody called before noon, they were guaranteed a call back before the end of the day,
Hmm.
business day. If it was afternoon, they they were guaranteed a call back before noon the prior day.
Okay.
And it didn't always mean that we would fix issues or could satisfy a request immediately. But what it did do is it gave everybody, a line of sight into when it was going to get done and how it was going to get done and who was going to complete it. So you break a window, right? You have to, there's a series of things that have to happen to make that get
Yep.
completed. It's not going to happen in 24 hours, but we use that as kind of the guiding principle for the way we wanted to operate. And when I mentioned those three things earlier, it was talent, it was technology, and it was that culture, right? Delivering that extraordinary experience or enhancing that customer journey was just about taking the basic things and removing the friction from the customer's journey, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. And in our space, you got a bunch of great owner operators, right? These run great lifestyle businesses, and they're wearing 10 different hats and things slip through the cracks. So we just said, look,
All the
hey,
time.
one of the big frustrations or friction points was people not calling people back.
Yeah.
So it was a simple little twist or tweak to the operating system that drove some of the outcomes that we've been experiencing for years now. Full circle in terms of culture, that was what I did with Schill originally in Cleveland. It worked very, very well. It was easy when you started with 30 people and grew it to 200 people in the Cleveland market. Now you got 1,600 plus people in 30 different locations. The the consistency in which I would love to see that happen, although it is pretty good, it's not where I would love it to be ultimately. So,
Never
again,
satisfied with the, yeah, I think
well,
that there's a
again,
drive. Yeah.
the culture, right, is
Yeah.
is really important. Like, and if we want people to understand that, like, when we ask people to do things, it's not for the sake of asking them to do it or to create a punitive environment, right? Or to have negative conversations with you. It's really, again, to create opportunities and elevate your game, help you level up so you can actually become more valuable to the organization and take on more, and which in turn is going to lead to more responsibility and hopefully more money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that. And I think you did mention that you feel like you're a group of entrepreneurs, or I mean, do you find that um, the people that run with the culture more have maybe had their own business in the past, or do you think that helps create that right culture, or um, I guess maybe the question is more, how do you find the right people to enforce your culture?
Yeah, so our core values are simple. We're employee centered, customer focused, and champions in the community served. So when you think about it, we've got 8 different brands that we operate under. And although during our conversations we may say things differently, at the end of the day, when we boiled all these things down and diluted them into their kind of raw elements, if you will,
Hmm.
we were all saying the same thing in many cases, if not the
Okay.
exact same thing. So look, again, when you think about culture in our organization, to me, the single most important thing is our people. So that's why every decision we make, every conversation we have, I don't care if it's employee benefits or it's embracing a new piece of technology or shifting equipment or uniforms, right? All of those decisions are made for the sole purpose of improving the life of our employees. That's ultimately what we're trying to do. And I know we may have some employees that may listen to this at some point and go, "Oh, like I'm not so sure about that," but ultimately, that's what we're trying to accomplish. That's really what we want to do, and it's
Hmm.
no different. If we take care of our team, they're going to take care of our customers, and happy customers, better retention, higher attachment rates in terms of enhancements, more referrals. We've got customers referring us into different states now and adding on the portfolio,
Fantastic. Yeah.
which is really what's important. So I think allowing people or meeting people where they are, right? At the end of the day, if we take care of our people and take care of our customers, everything will work out. You may
Yes.
say it a little bit differently, look a little bit differently than it used to look, but we're okay with that. We're going to embrace, where we can meet in the middle. And
Hmm.
that's what we want to do is we want to leverage the best of what we have, right?
Yeah.
And just stop doing the things that don't make sense. And that requires a little bit of freedom and vulnerability to just say everything doesn't have to look exactly the same as long as we're all, basically singing from the same sheet of music. Because there's
Yep.
regional differences and cultural differences in every one of these buildings that we have.
Yep. Yeah. And what do you have going on from the, you know, there's a lot of talk about labor issues in the industry, not enough people coming in. What are you finding at Schill?
Yeah. So I just had this conversation Friday with somebody. I said, like, labor has been a
Okay.
challenge for 32 years. Like,
Yeah, I know.
this isn't a new phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
This is the trades, and trades, it's gratifying but difficult work, right? It's tough, it's hot, it's cold, it's backbreaking, et cetera, et cetera. So I think finding good talent has always been a challenge. But, in our world, for lack of a better term, and my mindset always is, instead of sitting around bitching about it, right, we're going to do something about it. So we spend way too much time spending money on trucks and loaders, and just snub our nose at spending money on infrastructure. And we did it for years. We no problem spending $200,000 on trucks, but God forbid you spend 60 or $70,000 to hire a recruiter. So our mindset has
Ah,
been, we have been very intentional about it. We built, I would argue that our largest department in our organization is HR related. So we think about human capital, and
yeah.
that is all of our HR functions. That's HR compliance, that's payroll, that's employee benefits, it's our talent acquisition teams. We've got multiple talent acquisition people. So we've got a cadence where we have a staffing matrix, so we know and evaluate people, like who's doing well, who's not, who's probably promotable, like
Yep.
the red, yellow, green concept.
Yep.
And then where do we have gaps? And then talent helps us kind of go out and do that. Our employees are still our biggest referral source,
Yeah.
but talent is constantly combing the environments that we're in, to find quality, talented people that align with our, values, right? And that we think would be a good fit in the organization. And we're doing different things now. We're testing different assessments and our interviewing process, our onboarding systems. It's all of those things. And we've built out a good H2B team over the years. It's only about 13% of our business, so it's a very
Okay.
low concentration of H2B. But these folks have been with us for 20 years, and we will never stop trying to bring them back. But we have not built a business around it. We've done quite the opposite. We've reduced our dependency on some
On
of
it.
these outside agencies because we don't have control. So anywhere we could gain greater controls, we
Hmm.
spent the money to go do that. And again, one of the biggest things we've done in the last 6 years is be intentional about going out and actively trying to recruit talented people, not waiting until we have a need.
Yep. That's a great point, and being proactive. And I think the other thing that you spent some time talking about is creating the right culture. Once you do have that, it does, you're looking for somebody that it matches with, the culture matches with, and bringing them on, and then it is more of a permanent hire, and that's an important part of it. But you're right. We maybe always spend as much on recruiting and the whole system around it, the onboarding and all that is a big cost. And I've often said that, hiring the wrong person is a huge cost. It's just not on paper as clear as buying the wrong piece of equipment.
Well, you made an interesting point, and I would say that one of the things we've learned over the last 32 years is, and I've been a Vistage guy for 12 years, and it's a CEO group, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of the businesses that we partnered with, whether they were, getting to a point where they needed to retire, needed to do something with the business, or they had kind of hit a ceiling and didn't know how to bust through the ceiling at a
Hmm.
certain size. The difference between our organization and some other organizations were what they viewed as an expense in the P&L, right? Like, oh boy, if I go hire this person, it's going to lead to more work, which means I got to go buy more equipment, which means I got to go hire more people, et cetera, right? So it creates this snowball effect. And part of it has to do with your goals. Like, what are your personal goals, the goals of the business? Those are all viewed as expenses. We look at them as an investment, especially an
Mm.
investment in people, because we know that if we have a talent acquisition manager in place, We're still trying to sift through the metrics on how many people they can effectively onboard or hire, attract, hire, and onboard, right, and get them to stick. Like we're starting to measure what is our retention rate with people all the way down through
Yeah.
the technician level. So we don't have all the metrics, we don't have it all figured out. We just know that we need to do it. But
Yeah.
it's the same thing with business developers. You hire a new business developer, and they're going to sell three-quarters of a million year one. By year three, they could be selling $2 million.
Hmm.
It's a really small investment to make in somebody for the long-term ROI that it's going to.
Yeah. Great, great, great input. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, our time is coming to a close. Is there any advice that you would give to those, younger owner operator companies looking at the path forward? And maybe they're only a few years in the industry. What advice would you give them?
Don't try to figure it out on your own. Network, utilize all the associations, the industries, the peer groups, the relationships that are available out there to help grow your business. Like learn from people. That one of my favorite parts about this industry is everybody is so willing to share and help other people. I mean, genuinely help. Like open the door, show you anything and everything you want. Just ask. You'd be surprised at how willing people are to do it. And then the other thing is, and I've been thought it this way for about 10 or 15 years now, is you need to build your business to sell it. And I don't mean literally sell it. It could be giving it to your children. It could be
Hmm.
transitioning it to your employees. It could be selling it out on the market. And when I say build it to sell it, I don't mean literally just do that. If you're building a business to sell, you're going to build it. You're going to do things differently.
Yeah.
You are going to do things a lot different than you would if you just think you're going to build a business so you can get some of the perks that go along with it. Now, if that's what you want, that's great. But you're going to build a highly profitable, you know, business that people are going to be attracted to when you build the business the right way. And that's not a shameless plug. I just mean it's a mindset. It's a mindset on the way you do things.
Well, fantastic advice, and I appreciate you coming online with us and look forward to many conversations in the future.
Happy to help.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Jerry. Great to
Take
have
care.
you on. Okay,
Bye,
have a
everybody.
great day.